All right, let's do it live on a First Friday edition of the program. You what? A little hot? Coming in hot?
Which one's mine?
Bit of a first closest to you. Closest?
Okay, good.
Yeah, no,
Just
you're
a
good.
little, Bo. Just a little.
Coming in hot?
Was Mo Pedman in this seat?
Yeah, coming in hot. We were coming in hot.
Gerard was.
Holy moly. It was as if you
Yeah.
were a little person who
Yep.
crawled into my ear with a megaphone and were screaming at me
Screaming.
from inside my head.
Feels like something they do in Bugs Bunny.
Yes.
They'd have that,
Yes,
where like
they
a
would
mini
have-
guy would go in there
go
and
in
yell.
there
And
wreak some havoc.
Yeah.
For sure.
I like what they remember. I used to love the little angel on one shoulder and then the devil on the other.
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember how
right.
you
Yeah,
make
yeah,
those
that-
decisions.
yeah, right.
That was nice.
You had to work that out.
How'd you come out of it yesterday? That was a hell of an afternoon weather-wise here in the Metroplex.
Well, we were here. I mean, we were here, and all of a sudden, everybody in the building's phone at the very same time got the tornado warning, and we all kind of looked around. At various points, power was going in and out here.
Yeah.
Practice was moved indoors. All those who were here were advised to leave and shelter as quickly as possible. And that was that. I heard Hudson. So Miss K said a tornado touchdown in Solon was one of the reports, and I heard Hudson was kind of in a little bit of the path as well. How'd you guys do?
We were. It was a little harrowing because there 80 mile an hour wind downtown, and it was slowly moving across. And then there were you're looking at a Doppler, and they got some reds and some greens and some yellows, and then I'd never seen purple.
Yeah, that's the hook, baby.
That's another level.
Yeah, you
there.
don't want purple.
Yeah, and so then when you see purple, and I was sitting there with the fam, and 12-year-old NBC is at football practice, so he's not around, but the others are, and it's starting to escalate. And you can kind of tell when it's going to get pretty real. And so we flipped on the TV, and sure enough, it was getting real. And then we were like right in the path of it. And so like those 15 minutes of like, okay, is this really going to? Are we this where we're at? Now, where we're located is we are right on the edge of the national park, and so I don't know if one could land with just that topography, the ups and down part of it. Usually, you have to have a flat run of it,
a plane.
which is correct.
Well, supposedly it came right down 422, which is a freeway I live right off of, and it came literally right down 422 and touched down somewhere there in Solon.
Yeah, it did, and so we were watching and I was looking, and I knew you were here. I didn't know if Miss K was home or where
They were
she
in
was.
the Miss K, Nana, and Aso all hung out. We have a guest suite now in the basement, and they were in that very indoor room.
There you go.
Feeling very safe.
Okay, so I was concerned a little bit about that, and so
Sure.
because and
How
then
was
everybody,
Bootsy?
it was dangerous. He wasn't crazy about it. He was very. The weather lady meteorologist was saying words that were fearful for him, and so he gets very nervy. Him and Beamsy both are a little bit more on the nervy side of things. So yeah,
What game is he playing right now? Is he still Fortnite?
and college football.
So he asked me to get into a party last night, and unfortunately I was not able to. But I was curious what game he was looking to get. He goes, college football. I was going to.
Well, that wouldn't have gone well for
So it
him.
might take you to the woodshed.
Yeah, it would have been the woodshed for him for sure. Yeah, he's doing that, and then he's doing he's still doing the Fortnite. He's really excited about some drop that they're doing that he was excited about. There must be some new
Well, they're going to
update
like
or something in the last couple of weeks.
They're going to redo like an old chapter that's coming up that was like everybody's favorite version of the game.
Okay, so I don't know any. He was
He's juiced.
He's jacked up about
like
that.
that.
So he was doing that, which was pretty good. So here they moved everybody inside, and then it was just business as usual. So did you see anything that was going on here, or were you inside by the time it hit?
Oh no, I don't know anything that happened
Outside, 'cause you guys were practicing.
We were in at practice. Yeah, I just knew that at one point you could hear things that didn't sound great, and the power would go out, and all the TVs in here all shut down, every computer shut down. It was very interesting though, as I was sitting with, we called it, we were in the bunker. It was me, Senior Swag, and Brent Rossi in the bunker, as we called it, trying to protect valuable assets.
You guys being the valuable assets, like we got to make sure that you guys are.
Yeah.
So basically, what you guys are is like. When the Nazis are bombing London and they took like the Queen and that's you guys. You're that. They took you in and
we were in the bunker.
If all else fails, if we protect these three, the organization can go on.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he's running a
It's
business.
fair. He's running a business, You're the forward facing employee of the operation. Rossi answers to everything.
And I'm outside holding down a
Of course you are,
NFL
Gibby.
network.
You're entirely disposable. You're
Clearly, he's inside in a bunker. I don't even know where the bunker is here, by the way.
Hey, Gibbs, why don't you grab a big piece of metal and go stand in the parking lot and see if we can figure out where the electricity is going to go. Will you do that? You're tall.
Can you divert the electricity from the buildings to yourself?
So it was funny, though. At one point, we're in there. In the
Where's anybody see Jason? Yeah, he's outside. He's holding a big piece of steel. Don't worry about it.
He's like Bishop Pickering. So we were in the bunker, and all of a sudden the power went out. But what was interesting about it is that all power other than the overhead lights went out. And there wasn't even they didn't go out for a second, and then a generator decided that those were the most important things. Everything else went out.
Okay.
Except for the overhead lights.
Except for those.
Which I found fascinating.
Yeah. Like, how do they decide what? Yeah. That is fascinating.
I still don't have any answers for that.
Yeah, but it was a scary afternoon.
It was a scary
around
afternoon.
the area.
Yeah.
How about your neighborhood, Gibby? Everybody okay?
So the one side of I was telling someone earlier, I live on a street that starts in Olmsted Falls and ends in Ridgeville. It's a very long street. Like the Ridgeville side does not have power, and they're saying maybe 7 to 10 days.
Oh God,
we have power.
We have power. Thank goodness.
And but it's gone in and out.
Okay.
Checking on the parentals. They don't have power right now. I might have to go over there later and deal with that.
Yes.
So, we literally, I think everybody in the building got this tornado warning.
Yeah.
Yes, at the
on
same
their
time.
phone. We're all looking
loud.
around. It is sunny outside. Like, it's dark to the northwest.
Yeah.
But it's not. I'm pull up the radar. I'm like, Avon Lake. I'm like, it's awful far. All right, we're going outside. At this point, they've made the call. Everybody needs to evacuate the area. I walk downstairs. We start tearing down. I've got 2 radio stations I've got to relocate.
Yep.
I've got to put our affiliate WHBC in the hallway. 850 and Emmett and Gerard are up here. We've got to move things around. From the time I walked outside to the time I got downstairs and we started to move, 4 minutes that storm was on us.
Jeez, quick.
Even when I lived in Tornado Alley, I've never seen a storm take that much ground that quickly.
Wow.
I mean, it was on you.
It was.
And I looked over, and the poor folks at NFL Network, they're trying to get all their gear like inside. So, I mean, I've got the radio stations inside at this point. I go over to help I know him well as a producer, and I'm helping him get his pop-up tent down. Like, we're putting it down, and there's a moment where I'm like, and he even says, maybe we could just stay underneath this and ride this out. At which point, I look out to the south end of our complex, and I'm watching pop-up tents go airborne, and I'm like, No,
sir.
We're not dying out here today.
No.
We're going to get this under the big tent, and I don't know if it's going to be here when we get back, but you and I are going inside, and we're going to ride this out. So, I spent the morning before I came in cutting up tree branches, limbs. Yeah. I mean, I've got about 4 15 to 25-foot branches down. Some pretty sizable things, but otherwise not awful, but there's a lot of debris.
It was, there's a lot of that.
So I've come to the conclusion
that
living in this area,
you
need to have a generator. And not to say that is an easy thing to do or a cheap thing to do.
No.
But it feels like a necessary element of living in this area because you have windstorms that knock trees down that take poles out. You have snowstorms that do the same, take poles out. I mean, there have been, in my time here, I don't think there's been a year where I have not had at least one day without power. And in some cases, it's been 72 hours.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. Around us, all the power lines are buried, so we don't ever get that.
Yeah, which is
not
over
nice.
where we are.
But I just think because it's newer kind of construction. So we
Smart.
don't – yeah, it's smart. They just bury it.
Because they've acknowledged the problem exists.
This
and
is
we
a
must
big deal.
change the way
Let's
that we
change
do this.
behavior.
Yeah, right.
Instead of having these things just hang where they can get
in trees usually. I mean, like
correct. Yeah. So that, but yes, I think generator. In fact, if you're a generator company and you'd like Nathan or I to endorse you, we're here. We're here to help.
Come
on
on in.
We're here to help. I had a fun moment this morning, and understanding that people went through a lot of much more serious stuff. We didn't really lose anything. We had some limbs down, but nothing significant.
Same.
It was
just a few
It
twigs.
was nothing. Didn't even lose electricity. But I do have a hypersensitive electrical box. So if there's anything, it flips. A breaker will get flipped.
Sure.
And we've been there since built the house 06, so we've been there the whole time. So I know which ones need to get when things go wrong.
Oh, same. Our house. For some reason, everything outdoors, and then the two outlets, only the outlets, not the lights, and then the two outlets in our master bathroom are for some reason on the same circuit breaker. And whenever there's a big rain, it always trips that particular breaker. Every time. So this morning, I have morning activities that I have to do, and there's a time where that activity starts. That's right.
And it starts the same time every day. And so I go. One of the other things that we did is when you turn the shower on, it's hot right away. So we have the instant hot thing,
instant,
so it doesn't heat up. So
Lovely.
It's hot right away. Lovely little thing. So flip it on. Go to hop in the shower. It's 8:45 at this point. Just going to do a quick one. Had a lot of stuff going on this morning. Hop in there, cold shower. I don't have enough time. I know exactly what's happened.
It's tripped.
It's tripped. I know. So the hot water's been tripped, so forth and so on. I know it's been happening, but I don't have time to go flip it. And furthermore, even if I do have time to flip it, the hot water heater is not going to heat.
It's the point. Instant hot, but it's not.
But
instant hot.
But you have a whole water heater that hasn't been heated since last night.
Correct.
So it's not going to do that.
So you don't have like the tankless one?
No. It's a tank.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
there are the ones
there
that
are
like,
now they have those that aren't. Yeah, but it's a tank. So like all of that water, it's going to take a while to heat it, right?
Yeah,
so that's the idea.
No doubt.
So all right, Wim Hof, let's do it. Cold
Wim
shower,
Hof, baby.
I tell the boys Shawshank style, big breath. Let's go, get it done quickly.
Don't even breathe for the
Who's
whole
our
shower.
former player that embraced the cold
Chase
shower?
Winovich.
Yeah.
Was not particularly pleasant. It was fine.
No, it's not pleasant.
I got through it in about a minute 15 shower, I would say. Got everything clean that needed to be cleaned. I get out of the shower. My wife is laying in bed, and she goes, "Was that a cold shower?"
Yeah.
Yeah, sure was. She goes, "Oh yeah, Courtney, our neighbor, was texting with us, and she mentioned that their breaker got flipped and they didn't have internet. So I figured that probably happened here too."
I'd have appreciated
that information yesterday.
Would have been very helpful.
Would have been critical for me.
Yeah, warm
I said,
shower.
"Well, don't worry about it, honey. It's going to be warm by the time you shower. You're fine. I took care of it for you."
Yeah.
Happy to do it. Next time we get a text, let the kid know.
Yeah.
And I'll go around and I'll flip them.
I'll flip them.
I'll get them right.
Doesn't
pressing
require
boxes.
much for you.
I know where they are. There's 6 of them that I got to, when it happens, I know where they are. Pop them, pop, 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 and we're good.
Well, you
That's
can
a
see.
lot. 6?
A lot going on.
Whew. All right.
Well, there's a bunch of them, but like the ones, there's a garage one you have to check. There are 3 in the basement. There's one in the basement bar, and then there's one in the kitchen. They don't all go, but at any time there's a heightened electricity, one of them will go.
You're saying you got to go to your breaker thing, or you're saying
I
you
know
have
what
to
you do. I got to go to the receptacle and hit the
and push the thing.
push the button in. That's all you got to do. You don't even have to do the hard thing of like flipping a breaker. You just have to do this.
See, mine is, and I actually think it's easier because I don't have to run around.
You don't
to
run
each
around
thing.
like an idiot. Yeah.
Mine goes down. You look at the sheet, and all of them are this way, except for one that's over here, and you go.
That's it.
And then we're good.
And then we're good. Solved.
Then we're good. Yeah.
So thanks for that, hun. What did you see in practice yesterday? Because this was supposed to be one for the public. It sucks when we lose one of these, but you were one of the people who got to see our operation go yesterday.
I had it was one of the more fun practices to watch for me. I actually spent the entire practice with Joe Hayden, and every play we were talking about, okay, based on the splits, what routes I thought would be possible, what the coverages were going to be based on the way they were aligned, and all that stuff. And it was like cornerback, pass defense, receiver 101. It was awesome.
That's fun.
And so that was really, really cool. A lot of highlights in this one on both sides of the ball. I thought Deshaun had kind of an up and down day, and that was due in large part, to be honest. Listen, I gulp from the fountain of gloriousness and pure joy and optimism, but sometimes you got to be a wet janket. And that's a phrase that I am coining in honor of someone who sometimes has to be a wet janket when he's running a business. And he's got to dispense some hard truths.
Oh, no. I don't like hard truths.
So I'm going to be a little bit of a wet janket right here.
Oh, baby. A wet janket.
And say we have a problem at left tackle. We have a problem at left tackle that led directly to a pick six by MJ Emerson because Deshaun had to throw the ball before Amari even turned his head around. It wasn't a bad throw. It was just Amari. The timing was so accelerated that he didn't turn around, so the ball went right by him and right into MJ Emerson's hands. There was a point in practice yesterday where our coach had to look at Miles and be like, "Come on, like we're trying to run a practice. Like we get it.
Yep,
you against number 66 is you're going to win that match. We got it.
We got you.
Noted.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't
really
have to prove
good.
it anymore. And then, unfortunately, and the reason I have to be a little bit of a wet janket given what's currently out there is it wasn't just when Miles was rushing on that side. It was a problem all game long. DeJuan and Miles had some great battles. And I read something today that I found to be among the more stupefying things that I've read in a long time from somebody who's pretty dialed in. Albert Breer was here yesterday.
Okay.
Did you read his
I didn't get
observations
a chance.
of camp?
No, I did not.
So this was the one that, and he was talking to people, and so I just still don't find it possible to believe that this would be a thing that was being said repeatedly at Brown's training camp. But anyway, DeJuan was having some very, very nice. He was having a very nice battle with Miles, and at one point it looked like Miles had gotten around the edge, and he still did a great job of making sure that Miles wouldn't get to the quarterback because he pushed him off. This is okay. I found it. This is the there are a few in here that were a little bit of head scratchers for me, but this is the one. I'm just going to read it verbatim, and then you tell me if anything raises your eyebrows. Another name to watch would be 2023 fourth-round pick DeJuan Jones, the massive tackle out of Ohio State. Jones has taken advantage of the opportunity that injuries to Jedrick Wills and Jack Conklin have opened up for him. It's hard to see how the Browns will get Jones on the field if those two are healthy, especially with the team set at guard with Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller. But he's making a case for the Browns to find a way. I'm just going to say it right now.
Okay, can I, since I...
Go, please.
And I certainly don't have color-coded boards and know this roster the way you do, but if you had even a modest following of this team a year ago before he got hurt and watched Baldinger at all, which I feel like everybody in the NFL ought to, you would know that DeJuan Jones was the only certainty at tackle, both sides, heading into this camp. And that had he played a full season last year, likely would have been a Pro Bowler and would have been in the conversation for Rookie of the Year with his former college teammate C.J. Stroud, who also went to Ohio State.
He's by far, but
Breer's an Ohio State guy. He's an Ohio State guy. He went to Ohio State. Yeah.
DeJuan Jones is my words.
Yeah,
my words. Nobody else's. Well, maybe not nobody else's, but my words, and perhaps other people's words. Yeah. He's the best tackle on our roster by like a wide margin. At this point. Like
that was the case last year.
Yes. So how they don't know? He's our best.
Don't see how he can get on the field, Albert.
I don't see how he can be off the field.
Right. No, that's
here's the problem. These guys try to see 32 camps in 32 days.
They do.
And a lot of them don't know what's going on.
I just don't understand. If you're here and you're talking to people, and I'm mentioned, since DeJuan Jones made it in your article, I'd imagine you have said a word about DeJuan Jones, and I don't think that there's anybody in this organization of consequence that would respond. I don't see how we're going to be able to get him on the field. Like, he's our best tackle,
and was no. That's and the Ohio State part of it is even.
So I read that. I said,
that's
like when Gibbe does it.
And you're right. These guys do
for sure.
They're doing a lot, but if you're going to write something that emphatically, I'd fact check that.
The other part that was interesting was his number 3 point is that the running back, it's going to be Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong with not even a single mention of Deontay Foreman. And I can, again, my words and the words of others, Deontay Foreman is slated to play a very big role for this football team.
Yeah.
So it makes it, when this is the only team that I would be able to kind of read into something that was written and understand. So it just makes you wonder what you're hearing about other camps, how much of that is grounded in
There's
reality.
stuff that slips through. All right, left tackle.
Wet Janket.
Yeah, Wet Janket. Here's the problem there. Those aren't acquirable.
Correct.
So the solution is going to have to come from within. So it's going to have to either be
It's going to have to be Jed. We need Jed to get out there. We need him to stay out there, and we need him to understand, or not to understand, but we need him to perform at a level commensurate with what he was drafted, and that to perform at the level that guys often do in this type of a situation where this year is going to determine their financial future. And we're talking not in terms of a few $1 million. We're talking in terms of like the difference. If he is dominant this year and plays like a Pro Bowl left tackle, he could be making $30 million a year.
Yeah.
And if he is not, he could be bouncing around the league and making, $5 million a year. So which is not a bad living.
Nothing to sneeze at, but dramatically different.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and then if that doesn't happen, then you got big problems, and then you're gonna have to move some guys around, and who knows? But
it's gonna keep people up at night, and it is going to be. It will be a problem. It will be a problem. Now, we haven't even seen Jack Conklin and gotten any updates on Jack Conklin, so no clue what's going on there. But if DeWand were going to get work at left tackle, I believe we would have seen it at this juncture. We have not.
Or is it, forever it was left tackle, most important, protect the blind side? Does it matter?
Well, in our division, they move Hendrickson around, but typically speaking, Hendrickson rushes against the left tackle. TJ Watt rushes exclusively against the right tackle.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Nick Bosa rushes against the right tackle.
Yeah.
A lot of guys. I mean, a lot of them do.
So it's I guess there's an old school thought out there that's like, oh, we'll put him at left, protect the blind side. That's not
the same thing anymore.
You're primarily out of the shotgun. You can see both sides. You're not doing 7-step drops.
Right.
Like it's that left, right doesn't matter. You need two good guys at both.
Because it used to be your left tackle is your pass protector, your right tackle is your run blocker.
Sure.
But now there are too many good edges in the league. And
the way we play offensive football is different.
Completely.
You just play it entirely differently.
Completely.
We also got the update that Jameis Winston will be the starting quarterback on Saturday against the Packers. Deshaun will not play, so it'll be Jordan Love versus Jameis Winston on Saturday. Can I just say this? This is where I stand because I know this is going around. Like I know the Bengals are going to play their starters. All of them are going to play, or those that can play are going to play in their game. I think this is largely a media creation. I don't think fans care. Unless you're one of the people in there, I don't know you care. And I think most people now with preseason football kind of acknowledge that you're getting a watered-down thing and you're just going in there to kind of be in the stadium.
I'll be honest. I'm happy about it.
You're happy that he's not?
I'm fine with
whatever.
Jameis versus Love. Great. That's a lot better than what I thought it might be.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and by the way.
Yeah.
I got sidetracked on the Wet Janket. Jameis Winston looked phenomenal yesterday.
Dude, we were out there 2 days ago, and the kid's got a hose.
Oh, man.
I mean,
he hit a beautiful play-action deep bomb to Darden. He hit a beautiful against cover zero. They blocked it up. He made the right adjustment on the protection and hit Cedric. Cedric Tillman had a day. Cedric Tillman had 2 50-yard touchdowns. And the second one for Cedric Tillman was working against Rodney McLeod, and I forget who the corner was, where they were in a quarters coverage, and he ran a double move where it looked like he was running the deep dig. He ran a dig and go, and it was such a gorgeous move, and Deshaun threw a great ball. I mean, he couldn't have been more wide open, but it was a good ball anyway. Caught him right in stride.
Yeah.
Ced had a great day. Winston threw 3 touchdowns that were easily 40-plus yards. what Darden, Tillman, and then one to Trayton Welch at the end of practice on like a leak wheel route from a tight end up the right sideline. He had a very good day yesterday. And so, he's going to go. Deshaun, like I said, up and down. And the difference for Deshaun was, and I'd say Jameis didn't face pressure. The D-line's dominating the offensive line, first, second, whatever. And it's at the edges. Interior, not as much, although Mike Hall is making his presence felt in a big way. Za'Darius kind of called Aaron Donald. And then yesterday, he burst through the line for a couple tackles for a loss, was around the quarterback.
He had so many moments.
He's going to be, I think we may have stolen another first-rounder based on kind of the early returns. But
NFLU down there, dude.
Jameis looked very, very good yesterday.
Yeah. So I guess I don't know that anybody really cares who's playing in these games or not.
No.
I don't think it makes that much difference. It's better for your guys' product if you're able to get a look at a starter. But like the gross many of us are aware that what matters, especially with a team like this, when you have a good team, what matters is September. Like this stuff, like let's just get there healthy.
It matters.
When you're bad, fine.
It matters when you're getting a quarterback that you think's the savior and you want to see him. If you signed a huge star in free agency and you want to see him in the uniform and you want to see him playing. Everybody's excited to see Jerry Jeudy for sure, but he's looked great here in the couple days he's been out there. But we don't have that urgency. Our urgency is about beating the Cowboys and starting the season off right, because we have two stretches of this season that we need to be very good. The first would be probably the first 5 games or so. And then the second would be coming out of your bye week. You have 4 winnable games in a row. But other than that, it's a tough schedule, and so you got to take advantage of it. But preseason is not. No, that's not where we're focusing our attention.
A couple other items of business: the Browns signed defensive end Marcus Haynes and linebacker Landon Honeycutt yesterday. They also waived Jalen Camp, the wide receiver, and Chim Okafor on the offensive line.
Update your board.
I know they're obviously not on my boards.
Could you hold that board up? Is that the defensive board?
Just our offense.
Or offensive board? I don't know if you can see it or not on the
girl
YouTube.
holds
but it's
it up to me today, and he's like, "What do you think?" I go, "I don't even know how you would read it."
It's all color coded.
No, but like the writing is so
small.
I'm like, how do you even read it?
It's a lot of dudes, man.
It's going to feel like and then I got, the more bigger notes were for more kind of exposition on various people back in here. But, I can't wait for 53 people to be on the board, brother.
It changes things.
90 is a lot.
90's a ton. 90's an absolute ton. The big thing of yesterday, and it's still out there, but it's there's some adjustment to it. The Patriots reportedly back down to the Brandon Ayuk talk. The Steelers are back in, according to Schefter. I don't know if I believe that or if that's just, hey, Browns, the Steelers are now in. Are you sure you can't sweeten something here? That's my view of that from 30,000 feet. The Patriots reportedly were willing to make Ayuk one of the top 5 highest paid receivers in the NFL. The idea that the no chance to win in New England thing is that the fact that was the model organization for 2 decades, and now
somebody said
they got Randy. They got like Ochocinco, like all those guys came in there on the end.
Imagine telling somebody in like the mid 2010s that a player was considering the Browns for a chance to win a Super Bowl and wouldn't go to the Patriots because they had no chance.
I did see that. Yeah, that
was pretty funny.
Might have been McNeil.
Maybe
had that. Good job.
Reflock, good job.
Very good job out of him. Reporters asked Tomlin if he wanted to add another receiver. Mike Tomlin said, "I'll let you guys speculate on that," with a big smirk on his face.
So one of the things I heard is that this is kind of slowed down, and that it feels like the likely outcome is that Ayuk is going to stay a 49er.
Now, you would not know that from Christian McCaffrey, who was interviewed yesterday. The NFL Network was at 49ers camp.
I believe Chris Rose was with him.
I believe he was. I think you're right. So Christian McCaffrey, we have this for you. This is yesterday on the NFL Network. Here's Christian McCaffrey referring to Brandon Ayuk.
That's not part of my job. It's not part of my position. I think obviously as a former teammate or teammate of his in general, any teammate that you have, you love, you respect them, you want the best for them.
Freudian, or do you sense that they've just been preparing for this? And
I think they've been preparing for it, and I think that there was a time in the last week where it was a foregone conclusion that he wouldn't be a 49er, and I think that those wins are a changing because I think he wants to go to Pittsburgh is what, if these are based on things that you've read and kind of sifting through, that he would be okay going to Pittsburgh, but that Pittsburgh is nowhere near the compensation that the Niners want. And we are, but I don't know if he's sure. I think he has. I was told there's some personal connection that he has to that organization that I don't know the nature of, but that there's with the Steelers that he doesn't have here. I mean, his preference is to stay on the West Coast for sure, but we'll see.
You said this yesterday in regard to us, and you and I talked about it a little bit. This front office, they are not going to amend. They have a finite.
This is what it looks like. Yep.
This is what we'll do. If this doesn't work, we're on to the next.
We'll
wish you luck.
If you want to call us back and change your mind, kind of like that's what happened with Jerry Jeudy, is that the Browns had pursued him. They thought it was dead, and then Denver called back and said, actually, you still want him?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, there you go. I think we've done it.
I think we've done it. That's how we opened the show, by the way.
That's right.
This 12-minute thing yesterday for the birds.
There's a lot going on.
Well, there was a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
There was a lot going on.
We'll go around the league, around the sports world as well. We are off and running. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Does your furry friend have what it takes to beat out the competition? Enter the Dog Dash Sweepstakes presented by Milkbone for a chance for your pup to compete in the annual halftime dog races. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/milkbone to enter and check out more from Milkbone at your local grocer and pet supply store. Would Asa go from end zone to end zone line? What's the race? Is it from the
It's
goal
usually
line
from
to the
like
goal line?
50 to the goal line.
50 to the goal line?
Yeah. Would she do that?
Yeah.
No. No.
How far would she get before we're like, oh, the hell with this?
She would do that if there was like a dog, one of the dogs that she doesn't like in our neighborhood was like prancing through the end zone. She would beeline right at it.
She has no idea the size differential between her and bigger dogs, or does not care.
I think the latter. I think
You think
she's
she doesn't
like,
care? She's like,
I'm going to,
watch this.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to smoke you. I mean, she is so loving to our family.
Yeah.
And there are like 2 dogs that she likes in the neighborhood. Everybody else,
Yeah.
it is a personal affront to her that they think they can walk in her neighborhood.
Not having it.
No, and if she will go, if we're up on the upper deck, she'll run down to the lower deck to bark close. Sometimes she has to go in various parts of the room so she can look out windows to bark at him. She's all business. I feel like Buddy Garrett, he probably had a nice stride.
He's got wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got wheels.
I mean, Ace has got wheels.
yeah. Well, I mean, his size is
But she's-
significantly.
yeah, very little.
It'd probably be 15 Asa strokes for
Yeah,
one buddy.
Yeah.
So that would probably be the deal. He is a golden, and yet I think fancies himself like a Rottweiler. Like he really tries to be formidable.
Yeah.
And so it's a big bark. And because it's a bigger dog, it's intimidating for a lot of people because you hear the bark, and it even for people who don't know big dogs,
Right.
they get pretty
They
panicky.
get nervous. They get
pretty
nervous.
panicky around him.
Yeah.
So, but he can be bought for peanut butter.
Yeah. By the way, the official Nana is said that during the break they were able to see us the whole time, but they couldn't hear us. So just FYI.
That last part's really critical.
It turns out that
I wouldn't want either. We don't want either because we have to have some privacy. But
we
but
deserve
for sure.
it. But I am just something to
The audio is really important that is, because as much as we love to give you all some scores from time to time, there are a great many things that are discussed on these breaks that cannot go out,
that are
not for air. Maybe one day we'll do an uncensored
Yeah.
in the breaks. Maybe that's what we call it. Z and B in the breaks.
That'd have to be a big sponsorship.
Huge.
Big sponsorship.
Huge.
Paid directly to
much
us. So that when we are not so that when we are relieved of our duties,
Those paychecks can be made up to us directly.
because we're going to need that. We're going to need to build that nest egg.
You got to really. And we get ourselves out to Santa Fe. We're running old
Right.
OFs, and away we go.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Around the Sports Roll, presented by Leaf Filter, the official gutter guard.
How about
of your
that?
Cleveland Browns. How about that? It's very good.
How about it?
Very good. Episode 1 of Hard Knocks. Did you watch?
Did
not.
oh
Did not. We were on. I had a lot going on last night, so I didn't have a chance to watch it. I was going to watch it tonight.
Good. Enjoyable.
I saw some of the highlights here or there of it. If you're a Bears fan, I'm sure that you are, from what I saw, probably as excited as the franchise has been with Caleb Williams.
Yes. So Caleb Williams came off. I thought great. I was like, okay, this guy is going to work. This guy, he felt every bit like a franchise quarterback. Some of the highlights that they showed were very, very good. Yeah, I would be very excited. They gave him the Bulls entrance, like the PA guy with that music.
The from North 6'6" from North Carolina.
Yes.
Ray Clay, I believe, was his name. Yeah.
So they gave him that. He got that intro. They showed the DJ Moore getting his contract extension middle of practice, walked up, signed, came back down, and was worth significantly more than he had been previously, which was actually pretty cool. Jalen Johnson, the corner, was driving around in a car that I had never seen before in my life. It basically looked like an old school, like Mercedes Roadster, but it's 2 wheels in the front, only one in the back.
Oh, is it like a?
It's not those ones.
Not
it's
the
like
one-
a car.
It's a car. It's not like, because there's like a slingshot thing.
Yeah, it's not a slingshot.
That.
No, that's like an.
It's like a Polaris slingshot or something like that. A Razor slingshot. I'm not sure.
I'm sure it'll make it on here. Okay, so here you go. This is his car.
All right. Hold on, I'm going to come over.
Pull it up here. So, come on now. Come on now.
Come on now.
Goodness gracious. Why is it so hard?
Why is it got to be
Here it
so
is.
hard?
Here's a picture of it.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so it's got kind of like that.
That's a very good description out of you because it looks like, honestly, it looks a little bit like the car from Monopoly.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
That
so
little roadster.
I had never seen this before. So it's 2 in the front and then it's 1 wheel in the back is the way that it works. It was, let's see if I can get it on YouTube. Here you go. I got it on YouTube for you. Here you go, Bo.
All right. I don't know what that is.
So look at it from the front. It looks crazy. So earlier today, so it looks like it says one Vanderhall, a Vanderhall Carmel is what it appears to have said on the side. Can you Google
Vanderhall
Carmel? See if you can Google Vanderhall.
Oh yeah, it comes right up.
Okay.
Vanderhall Carmel for sale.
All right. So that
Okay, here it is. Okay.
that's what
It's
is.
a 3-wheeled roadster
Yes, it is.
produced by Vanderhall Motorworks. The 2-seater was introduced in 19 and priced above the Vanderhall Venice from 2000, which I've never heard of any of this.
Nope.
Vanderhall models will be launched in Germany. The basic models of blackjack, shortened windshield, black trim. The more expensive models. The model is named after the small town in Carmel by the Sea.
Yeah. So I'm walking there. Hey, how about it?
Hey!
Well done. So I'm walking out. I got my credentials, my parking pass today from Gibbe. Thank you,
Yep.
Gibbe.
They're only like 40-some grand.
So I'm walking out.
Yeah.
Guess what's in the lot right in front of me?
No way.
Backed right on out of a trailer. An all black version of that with a beautiful like baseball glove leather.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know who was standing there with it?
Gibbe?
Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Taking pictures. They just dropped it off out of a trailer.
For him.
He was right out. I'm like, is that the
Dude,
car?
that's the exact person I want driving.
I go, is that the car from
Yeah.
that Jalen Johnson was driving the night before on Hard Knocks? He goes, yeah. I go, this is great. I said, it's perfect.
That's all I want.
It's perfect. Yeah. So I had never seen it before. Didn't know it existed
I'll be
until
telling
last night.
There's not going to be a whole lot of opportunity up here to drive it.
I said, I don't know about this one in the winter. So I did
Can you
say
imagine that in the potholes on 480?
that. No. With the back wheel will go in and you're just stuck. You could like drive out. You could leave the back wheel and then you're sparking. Well, it's funny.
What a
He's
choice.
in Chicago. So Chicago and Cleveland.
What a choice to not put the second wheel on the back. Because if you put the second wheel on the back, it just is a pretty cool little roadster.
But that's how many 3-wheeled cars are there?
That's it. I mean, there isn't. So I suppose that's the appeal, is the fact that it's a 3-wheeler.
Yeah. So there it is. And yeah, so Jameis has one. It's perfect. Didn't know the car existed until last night.
And then Jameis has
today
one.
I see one in the flesh. Unbelievable.
All right, let's see. What is the closest? Okay, so there is one. There's a dealer here.
Might have been the dealer,
Yeah.
for all we know.
There's the closest one is in Cortland, Ohio.
Okay. So, yeah. So that I thought it very enjoyable. I thought the Canadian kid who revealed was wearing a bald eagle Speedo basically while he sang was incredible. Land That I Love, stand beside that song.
Yeah.
And ripped off his tearaway pants and had a bald eagle basically Speedo on. Was that guy? He was
an aggressive
incredible.
play,
Unfortunately, he got hurt, so you hated to see that. But this is a pretty good Bears team. I thought they did a great job with the Chicago Scapes, as it were. I also thought that Eberflus feels like an interesting choice to lead this organization.
Okay, so this was the most interesting thing to me, other than Caleb, was this is because you and I said when you get the chance to redraft, you reset. Like they got a chance to reset their franchise.
Yes.
And we knew that they would do what they did, and they got a stud receiver, and they got the number 1 pick in the draft. This would also be the time to break from the previous regime entirely. So in the first episode, was there anything that led you to believe or say, oh, I get it?
I want you to watch it, and then
Okay.
we'll discuss.
Right.
It's not Mike Smith bad, and I don't even know that is bad. I think a lot of his credibility comes from his relationship with Saban. He played for Saban at Toledo, I want to say.
That's a long time ago, man.
Played for Saban, was a monster linebacker wearing those, like, remember, what was the guy's name who played for the Buckeyes? It was like an Andy Katzenmoyer. Then he wear that huge.
Katzenmoyer had, and then they had the big, these things,
Yes.
and then back plates.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So Eberflus was that kind of a linebacker,
Okay.
tackling machine.
I did not know that.
So Saban comes to camp and actually is, I think, has some of the most interesting comments in the entire thing. Sits down with him, talking about how hard it is for Caleb Williams and the pressure of the expectations on these quarterbacks. He talks about how, Peyton led the league in interceptions and all of it. So Saban was there, and I thought that was very interesting. And they showed, Saban said, my important thing was always never to belittle the quarterback in front of his teammates.
Yep.
And I always would stand behind the quarterback so that I could see the game through his eyes. And so they show Eberflus doing that. It seems like he's got a great family. He does seem like a good guy. I just think it's one of those things like you either have to be very cool and charismatic to relate to the players, or they just have to understand that you're putting them in the best positions to succeed. So I think for him, after seeing it, he is cool, but I think that his ultimate path to success with them, like he's grown out a beard, he's got a new hairdo that his wife loves, and he looks great. But he's going to have to prove to them that they're in the best positions to succeed, I think, over time.
I like what you did there. You're either trust us, I'm going to put you in the best position to succeed schematically, or follow me to freedom guy.
Yes.
That's pick one.
And I don't know, like,
where's your lane?
If he's follow me to freedom guy.
Yeah, and he's not the other, so
we'll see.
Yeah, that's the tricky part. The Steelers,
I think they're going to be good, by the way. Let me just say that. They are talented.
Sure as hell should be.
Their offense is their start.
If that kid is,
and I think he is,
like, if he's and CJ was unbelievable last year. If he's 80% of that, 90% of that, then
they can.
And he was far more highly regarded than CJ.
They'll contend for the division.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about
weapons everywhere.
Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze,
can go.
DeAndre Swift, Cole Kmet. That's their 11 personnel.
Remember we did that thing named Pick Your Five, and then the NFL Network guy stole it?
Yeah.
Like their offensive five is frightening.
Very good.
Which they've never been.
No. They've never had a 4,000-yard quarterback. If he plays 17 games, he'll throw for 4,000 yards here. There's no doubt about it.
There's no doubt, yeah. The Steelers listed Russell Wilson as number 1 on their quarterback depth chart. Mike Tomlin said that there is a competition ongoing, but he also said it's on the depth chart. So Russell Wilson has taken that job over from Justin. Justin got off a good start, but the picks as you alluded to yesterday. I was reading about that yesterday afternoon. The NFL announced that the Detroit Lions and the New York Giants organizations are being fined $200,000 for multiple fights that broke out at joint practices earlier this week. What did you make of this? Charles Barkley says he will not retire and stay with TNT Sports to complete his 10-year, $210 million contract. Mr. Zagura.
What year is he in this contract?
He's pretty early, I think.
So then he's
which tells me that the bosses at Warner, this Zaslav and these guys, did not give much thought to this, either giving him that contract or what they did with how they botched the NBA, because I saw that they might transition to an inside sports versus inside the NBA. That will fall flat. The idea is that they are coming out of a game.
Yep.
Right? So they're reacting to a game, and that's the jumping off point. If that show just is inside sports and they try to do that because they have NHL, Major League Baseball, some college football, college basketball, like, come on. That ain't it.
That's not what you want to hear Charles, Shaq, and Kenny talk about. They're basketball players.
No.
That contract was signed in 2022.
Oh, my God. Well, so the reason that he is not retiring is that it sounds like he's got 8 years and $168 million to stay, which seems like a good, or even more than, what did I say, 21 a year?
Yeah.
Yeah, 168.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna want that.
You're gonna
paid in full.
I would like that. Yeah.
I'd like that paid in full.
You can buy me out, and I won't work for 90.
You'd give up that much? What would be the number if you were owed? So he's owed 100 and what are we getting? We're at 21 million a year.
Yeah, so I will call it 168.
168. What's the number that you'll eat in order to walk? 90? Is that the number?
That was the first thing that came to my mind. Seemed reasonable.
Yeah.
You could say, hey, we're saving $71 million over 10 years, over 8 years. That's basically $9 million a year that we're saving.
Yeah.
Great back
I
to
think
the
that's a
bottom line,
very
and I'm
fair
saying,
thing for you to say to them.
Yeah.
Because I think Chuck's saying, I think I'm going to take all of it.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take all of it. What are you going to have me do? Okay, fine. All right.
I love the idea of 90 for nothing.
Yeah. I also like the idea of Charles Barkley, like George Costanza when he was trying to get fired from the Yankees, dragging the World Series trophy around and eating strawberries in Babe Ruth's jersey, like that type of stuff. I like that too.
It'd be great.
I think that's
He can
fun.
pull it off very,
He
very
can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
This is something, according to anonymous reports from NBC, Snoop Dogg, our friend of this program,
Friend of this show. He's been
Mr. Dogg,
right here.
right in there.
Partied with him in Vegas.
That's right. That's right. Mr. Dogg.
He gave People's Elbow to my good friend The Miz at a WrestleMania.
Love it. He's getting paid $500,000 a day plus expenses for his Olympic coverage.
And he's worth every penny. The things that I've enjoyed the most of the Olympics coverage have all been Snoop related. Snoop fencing. I could watch.
I actually think I think it's theft. Him and Martha Stewart at equestrian.
Did you see him rapping to the horse and dancing? The horse was like, yeah. Horse was vibing with him. A horse.
If you were to tell like 17-year-old, more like 14-year-old us, that at some point in our life, Snoop would be on primetime Olympic coverage with Martha Stewart breaking down equestrian.
Not only did we be
Like when Doggy Style drops, the notion that that's the end game
is number one insane. Number two,
At some point, he's on trial for murder, is he not?
what?
Yeah, he was. That's right. That was,
Yeah.
Murder was the case that they gave him.
Like
Yeah,
he was
right.
he was with the group of people. Like
Yeah.
but he was
You're
doing
right.
some pretty rough things or with some rough people.
Listen, Martha Stewart was also in jail, and perhaps that helped forge their bond. But if you would have said that the number
the
one,
show that those two have on VH1 is
they're amazing,
unbelievable.
They have a wine together. They're business
I love
partners.
19
Love
Crimes
it.
is a fantastic
The
show.
fact
Yeah.
that she was for a while considered the most prim proper homemaker,
Yes,
and
right,
that he
right.
was Snoop, and that they are homies, is unbelievable. And it's the most compelling content.
Other than the actual events, it's my favorite thing.
I can tell you this: the voice of the Cleveland Browns
Yeah.
loved what Snoop was doing, hated everything Colin Jost did.
I agree with the voice.
So
I didn't find Colin Jost funny at all.
Oh my!
and the voice really didn't like it.
No, so he would be. I'm pretty
love
sure
the
it was
voice.
Jordan. He says, "Dude, Jordan's sitting in there. Maybe it was Connor. I don't know. We were in the we called it the Olympic viewing area, and Jost comes on, and Jim goes, "Hey, come on,
Let's go.
hey, Colin Jost, come on." It was just like,
That's awesome.
and you can picture it.
Of
right?
course
Like,
I can picture it.
hey,
That's so great. Hey,
Come
on.
on.
No.
Get him out of here. And then,
I think he sucks too.
And then I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it was one of them that told him, but when he found out that Colin Jost had married Scarlett Johansson, he was
he didn't know that.
that
Makes it even.
that did not compute.
That
for him.
really salts the wound.
That did not compute for him.
Yeah, that's it. All right, second hour of the program coming up next. Very possibly could be a very interesting next hour.
It could be.
It could be a very interesting
could
next
be.
hour. Might not.
Might
But we'll
not
do our
be.
best either way.
It's either going to be a very interesting next hour or it's going to be a very interesting 302.
That's true. One of the two. Browns fans joins Champions League, the free gaming community for Browns fans around the world. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/Champions League to play Fortnite for your chance to win two tickets to the Browns-Vikings preseason game. Registration closes on August 9th, so sign up now.
Can I say one thing real quickly?
Real quickly.
If anybody's out there and has cups of us,
Yeah, we want those cups.
I want a cup.
I'd like a cup.
And
That'd
I'd
be
also
nice. I
like to speak
understand
with the
cups.
artist. I'm
Yeah.
not bald.
We'll get into that as well. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And when a medical mistake caused you injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK Ohio. Elk & Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. We're going to head to the podium, presented by Vivid Seats. Some excerpts from our offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz.
Come on. Hey,
that's going to be.
Hey, come on.
Hey, come on. That's gonna be so big for us in the next 2 weeks. I mean, I just love that so much.
It's so good.
It's so good.
We got a couple new additions. I was thinking, on every level, I was thinking that wasn't even a year ago on every level. I was thinking about because our new facility here, which is phenomenal, and people who get to come to training camp will see it. It's very much based on what we saw at UCLA, and that was a trip where I got Irv to say on every level on camera. Was that trip?
Your joy,
pure
in that video,
boy, was it
was as happy as I've ever seen another human.
I just asked him to say on every level, and we got
he went
a minute-long story about being in the locker room. Sans clothing.
Sans. It's amazing. It's an amazing job. All right. So this is presented by Vivid Seats, official fan experience partner of your Cleveland Browns. Let's start with Ken Dorsey. Here's your new offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, on his new starting quarterback, Deshaun Watson.
I think he's progressing well for us. I think he's doing a really good job, managing his body, managing his shoulder, having great open communication with us to make sure it feels like it's in the right space for him so he can go out and play confident. But physically out there throwing it, I think you saw him get some balls vertically downfield throughout camp, which is very encouraging to see and a great positive for us. And you see him making all the throws necessary that we need to make within the system.
There you go. What did I miss? My head's on a swivel. There's a lot going on.
So it just came up on my Twitter, and it really did just come up.
Yeah.
Yesterday on the Come Get Some show that Greg and Blake Williams do, our former defensive coordinator and former linebackers coach, father-son duo. He told the story of what did he say at the initial press conference?
You must be Tony or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So how he knew what Tony was getting, he was prepared for it, and so they just told him. Yeah. And they just tweeted out that Tony Grossi has blocked them from following him and viewing his posts on Twitter. And Craig Williams goes, I went to bed early last night after the storms. What did I miss? And it's a picture of Tony Grossi blocking.
So Tone went at him.
Yeah, he did.
Tone went at him too.
I didn't like it.
Now I didn't hear
that's so funny.
Excerpt from their pod, so I didn't. Yeah. I don't know how hard Greg went at Tone in the thing. I don't have any idea. Everybody that's involved in this wins though.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because everyone's talking about it.
It was
the
wins. First question. It was our first meeting with Greg.
Yeah, I remember.
Understand, Greg had been a coaching candidate in the past a couple times.
Yeah, for sure.
So he had a relation. He knew Tony.
Yes, correct.
So. But Tony, you got to ask. This is the first time anybody's talked about Bountygate.
Yeah,
since he was a coach.
Yeah.
So it was the first question, and it came from Grossi.
Yeah. I remember.
You must be Tony. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, you must be Tony. I think is what he said.
Knowing full well he knew who.
Of course. That's why it's so funny. And then now that's great. By the way, if the blocking is new, great job by Tony. That's hilarious, and great job by all of them. That is good content. That's funny. That made me laugh.
This is pretty good from Tommy. So Elk & Elk is official sponsor here, so I won't name the other one. But Tommy tweets us, in the breaks needs to be a thing. Sign up a certain attorney now. He'll make them pay.
That's right.
He'll cover you. Yeah. So that's pretty good out of them. That's very, very good.
Let's go.
On that. All right, so we've got Ken Dorsey on Deshaun Watson, and now here is Ken Dorsey on his new role with Kevin Stefanski calling plays.
It's a new role for me, to be perfectly honest. To be the coordinator with the head coach calling it. I've always worked for defensive guys. There will be that feeling out process kind of as we go, which is great to have these preseason games to get that feel and get that rhythm. But it allows me to definitely be as involved as humanly possible with the game plan and putting the plan together for us. And then at the same time, also really be able to focus on our quarterback room and being prepared for meetings and being prepared for when they step out in the field in practice and on game day.
There you go.
There it is.
Finally, here is Ken Dorsey when asked his opinion on starters playing in the preseason.
Organizationally, we're still working through it at the end of the day. Those are decisions you don't want to rush. You want to make sure that you make decisions that are, one, best interest of the team, and best interest of the player. So we're going to continue to look at it, and Kevin's got a lot of experience doing this stuff, so I think he's got a great feel for our organization, our team, and in terms of those decisions, and it'll be a group discussion to finalize.
Again, I think that's more of a media thing than it is anything else. Every team's going to handle it differently. Like I saw Mahomes and the Chiefs starters going to play a whole quarter of their game.
The Rams never play anybody.
They never play anybody. Kyle doesn't usually play anybody, does he? Rams play nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah.
We'll see you when the season opens.
See you in September, kids. I think Ken was brought here. I know it's offensive coordinator, but it's almost like master quarterback coach and pass game.
He was
all of the option routes, all of the stuff. I mean, you think about what he did with Allen and Cam. Like we needed to bring that in.
He was brought here to revamp our shotgun drop back passing game, to install elements into our shotgun passing game that are more open-ended, free-flowing, that benefit a quarterback who excels out of structure like Deshaun Watson. There are elements that were brought in to give freedom to our wide receivers who excel as route runners like Amari and Jeudy, Elijah Moore, and hopefully Cedric Tillman. He was brought here to modernize some of our shotgun run concepts, and also then the play action out of the shotgun, and then the RPO game. So some of the things that give our quarterback a lot of options to be successful, a little bit better of a quarterback run game, although I think we have to be obviously very careful with Deshaun Watson out there. But that's what he was brought here to do. And Dorsey, as you mentioned, has been with Cam Newton. He has been with Josh Allen. He's got some New England flavor to him, and stuff with Dable in terms of some of that quick passing game from the spread. He's got some Norv Turner in him, as does Kevin Stefanski from their time together in Minnesota, with more of that shotgun drop back vertical passing game. So there are a lot of elements that he was brought here to do. But at the end of the day, what he was brought here to do was marry now a more diverse, dangerous, and suited to our quarterback skill set shotgun offense and shotgun drop back passing game, along with the very regimented Kubiak, Stefanski, Shanahan, under center, run, marriage of run and pass game. And Deshaun can play effectively in that, but his bread and butter is the shotgun, and that's where, I think you got to give a lot of credit to Coach Stefanski for recognizing that, Ken Dorsey can be a huge help here and help us maximize the strengths of our quarterback to get the best out of him, and that on a lesser level, but also equally, I think, a prudent move, and we've talked about this, is that to bring Tommy Rees in as the tight ends coach, knowing what he had just done at Alabama.
Yep. Well said by the forward face of the organization right there. All right, let's do defense. Come on.
Hey.
It's so good. All right, defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz on the new additions to the building and the weight room that we've discussed at length this week.
There's a couple things. First, it makes us be able to use our indoor better, right? When the weight room was taking up a third of it or a quarter of it, it just put us so tight. It made it hard to really work in there. This opens that up, so that's job number one. But number two, I think it just gives the players a boost.
It's awesome.
It's unbelievable. The players love it. Joe Hayden was remarking that, gosh, I wish I was just drafted in like 2020 to the Cleveland Browns and I could be a part of all this winning and how awesome this place is.
I bet there is that for him. I think Hoff feels that way too when he's back.
There's no doubt.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine if we would have got to play here now?
There's no doubt.
I think it's amazing that basically this organization went to UCLA and went, this is pretty great. Why don't we do this? And then did it.
And then just did it.
And put it into motion, and
That's
it was
right.
done by the time the new season convened. All right, here's Jim Schwartz on new additions, Quentin Jefferson and Mike Hall.
The thing I'd probably been most impressed with Mike is his effort. That's a guy that goes hard all the time. And I tell you what, he's got a great vet leading the way for him that way in Quentin Jefferson. If you guys want to have some fun in practice, watch Quentin Jefferson run to the ball. The guy's been in the league for a long time, has done a lot of things, and he really sets the tempo for the whole group, but also for the young guys. And it's great, being able to see that. And Mike's learning something new every single day.
I love the addition of Quentin Jefferson. I know that the defensive coaches, and you heard right there the high praise, they love the addition of Quentin Jefferson. A little bit of a scary moment yesterday when he was down, but was able to walk off and is totally fine. And then Mike Hall is just he is, I think, going to be a very, very impactful player in small bursts. And I think that's what's amazing for him is that he doesn't have to be snap-to-snap consistent yet. You hope he gets there where he becomes an every down player for you. But you put him out there and say, listen, you're going to be in one-on-one. Go beat your guy. I think he can do that.
So he didn't get one-on-one much when he was at Ohio State.
He will exclusively get one-on-one.
Get that here. There were many, and that's a lot of talent that was down the road 71 South through the last few years when Mike was there, certainly. There were many instances during his tenure where you would watch a game and say he's the best player on the field, like several times.
Yep.
I do this thing, 3 things after every Buckeye game, and the first thing I give somebody a table, who I think is the most impactful player in the game. I give Mike several tables. Like C.J. Stroud had a bunch of tables. Mike had tables. Like he was noticeable.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, he's a dude.
He's
a dude. It's just consistently, but he's never been in this type of situation. There's a lot of parallels between him and Dwan.
There he is. Our guy, B. Lynch.
That's the man right
That's
there.
the man.
That's the man.
Hey.
Come on.
Two thumbs up.
Come on. Here is Jim on JOK possibly having an every down role.
You don't want to say load management, but I don't know if there's another word for it. But, stuff like that is on our minds, whether it comes to all our position players. We were able to rotate some corners through last year, able to rotate defensive linemen. We were rotating linebackers, mainly because of an injury situation with Awalk and Sione last year. But it was able to benefit a lot of guys as we went further. He got a little taste of it last year being on the field for Dime and for some of the packages. We've extended that. He's at a completely different spot right now. Injury notwithstanding, he's at a completely different spot now compared to 2023.
And in 2023, I'd say it was pretty darn good.
Pretty good. I don't know if you guys saw this. I find this funny. So the NCAA really came down hard on Jim Harbaugh from his cheeseburger recruiting. Basically, he wouldn't help them. He wouldn't participate in the investigation. He said, kick rocks. I'm going to be just fine. So the NCAA said, all right, we're going to give you a 4-year show cause, and when you return to college coaching, you're going to have to sit out 1 year. So Jim Harbaugh has no inclination to ever coach again. He just won a national championship at Michigan with an undefeated season. S is texting me nonstop. He's so pissed off about all of this. But this I did find funny. So this is the statement from Jim Harbaugh's attorney on the findings.
So he would have to sit out a year? I thought it was like it's
a 4-year show cause. He'd have to sit out. He's never going to coach in college football again.
Correct.
He just was the coach at his alma mater. They just went undefeated and won a national championship.
And
he's in his 60s.
Beat the Buckeyes 3 times in a row.
He's
which makes
not
us very unhappy.
Ever going, but makes the kid very happy.
Very happy.
Here's the statement. This is a statement from Harbaugh's attorney. The way I see it, from Coach Harbaugh's perspective today, COI decision is like being in college and getting a letter from your high school saying you've been suspended because you didn't sign the yearbook. If I were Coach Harbaugh's shoes and I had an $80 million contract as a head coach of the Chargers, I wouldn't pay any attention to the findings of a kangaroo court which claims to represent the principles of the nation's most flagrant repeat violator of the federal antitrust laws. Well said.
Pretty well said, as a matter of fact, right there.
Yeah.
That's pretty well said.
That's pretty good right there, my
friend.
Spot on. Nailed it.
Spot on.
Be sure to check out the Browns social media channels daily to play the Browns digital scratch-off game for your chance to win club seats and other great prizes presented by the Ohio Lottery, the official lottery of your Cleveland Browns. Coming up next, Z and Jerry Jeudy. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Well, here for my friends at Jim Beam. What do sports and Jim Beam have in common? Both are better when enjoyed with others. So grab a bottle, gather your friends, enjoy the game, because with Jim Beam, you come as fans and you leave as family. Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright the 2024 James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart. Here's what you can do on this first Friday. My Ravens up at the lake tell me that the Red Haven Peaches are in. It's their time. This is the time of year when you perk up with the Red Havens when you see these babies.
I had a nice peach today, but it was no Red Haven.
Red Havens.
No Mackinac.
Totally different. So here's what you take one of those cats. You know, you have those the juice pressers for like limes and lemons. Take one of those guys, cut it in half, and put half of it in that press, and then squeeze and put that juice in the bottom. You do not need a sweetener because a peach is sweet enough already. So you do not need simple syrup, no sugar, nothing. Take that, then put probably about 3 fingers of Jim Beam on top of that. There are peach bitters you can use, but black walnut's pretty good mixed with it as well. And then you put that over rocks, and you have yourself a peach old-fashioned. If you want to make it a peach sweet tea old-fashioned, all you have to do is add tea and put it in a bigger receptacle.
A taller glass, as it were.
That's all you need there, kids. People helping people on this fine first
Isn't
Friday.
it Bergman's?
That's it. Those are my guys.
I was like, wait a minute, I know this.
You know where that is. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
They're locked up. They're locked in. Now's the time. All right, here is Z, one-on-one with Jerry Jeudy from Training Camp Insider.
Jerry, finally
You guys are down.
field this week. What's it been like for you to get out and then get in front of the fans for the first time since becoming a Cleveland Brown?
No, it feels good just going out there, being able to compete, practice with the guys. You know, it's been a long time coming. You know, had to go do some rehab. Now I'm back and ready to go.
So your first day out there was a slant to the house you and I talked about in the cafe. You said you felt slow. You looked like a blur out there running down the field. How did it feel just to kind of get back and doing football things again with the defense out there?
Like I said, it's always good to compete, just being out there, making plays. That's what I enjoy doing, being able to play football. So now that I feel better, it feels good just to be out there.
How about running those verticals again, getting that one down the right line? Oh, yeah. Now, Joe Hayden, if he were here, would be telling you.
Yeah.
He thinks there was a push-off there. I'm an offense guy.
Huh?
I said it's just some fighting right there, and you do what you had to do to create some separation.
Hey, good thing this ain't no real game. This practice ain't no reviews. So, hey, it is what it is. I made a play. It is what it is. We go on to the next one. It happens sometimes. That's how it be sometimes, but hey.
So when you get traded to a team, that means a team wants you. They want to bring you in. You probably had in your mind, what it was going to look like. Well, now you've actually had a little bit of time, no games yet, but a little bit of time to be around your team, to know what it's like to be a Cleveland Brown. How has it matched up to maybe what you thought?
Yeah, just like I had high expectation. I see the expectation achieving, just like with the fans, amazing fan base, how much people was out here yesterday, just the support that we have from the fans. I already knew. Even before I was a Cleveland Brown, playing at the stadium, just seeing how crazy the fans go over the Browns. So, that was exciting just to have the fans out here. And just the energy out here in general, the atmosphere was just amazing. And, just especially being out there for the first time, getting to really compete and see everything, and being home in Cleveland, practicing, it's what I expected.
Do you like kind of the way that they've been talking about how you'll be used in this offense? I know we talked to the Greenbrier, and you like kind of the scheme of the offense a great deal. Do you like how you're going to move it around, get some of that vertical routes out of the slot, things like that?
Yeah, I like that. They got me on different positions, running different routes. I like that just so to be able to move them around. Don't have me stationary, have me inside, have me outside, even sometimes in the backfield. That just put stress on the defense, and I'm here to take advantage of that.
We talked a little bit about the option routes or the choice routes, and I don't know if you heard Coach Stefanski in his presser, but he said Jerry made a great one on one of those option routes, made a great decision, and you guys were on the same page, obviously, for a big play. Is that fun when you're going out there and you're seeing something, you and your quarterback are seeing it through the same eyes, and you're able to have that ability to change what you're doing based on what the defense is showing you? Yeah,
that's one of a key advantage, always being able to have options within the route. That just give us an advantage on no matter what defense they play, we got an option depending on the leverage we could never lose. So that's all a good scheme to have in the offense.
We talked to the Greenbrier, and it was just kind of like the first day you really were around Coop since he hadn't been here kind of in the previous part of the offseason. What's it been like being in the room with him? A guy, you followed him to Alabama. He won the Biletnikoff. You won the Biletnikoff, and somebody who I know you've admired for a very long time.
It's been cool. Like I said, I just been soaking a lot of information in that he been giving me. So, especially being able to watch him practice, just watch everything he do, watch how he move, watch the way he run his routes. You know, I'm just learning and soaking all the information in.
Obviously, things take time to get on the same page with somebody, but how do you feel like you and Deshaun are progressing?
I feel like we did pretty good. You know, first day, finished practice with a long bomb.
That's right.
He hit me in stride on the trust route. You know, that probably would have been touchdown too.
Oh, there's no doubt.
It been looking good. It been feeling good. Yeah.
What's one thing that now this is an opportunity coming up, maybe in the preseason, maybe not. We don't know. We don't know what coach's plans are. But when Browns fans come and they see you out there, they see number 3, they say Jeudy on your back. What do you want Browns fans to be thinking about Jerry Jeudy, the football player, or Jerry Jeudy, the man?
As a football player, as a man first, I just want to know that want to know how in love I am with the game and how focused and determined I am to be great, and how determined I am to help the team win and achieve their goals, and that's to win the Super Bowl. And as a football player, I just want them to see me as an explosive wide receiver that could consistently get open and consistently make plays.
Let's go, baby. Can't wait to see you out there. Jerry, thanks so much for the time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's going to be fun. And when a medical mistake causes your injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK, Ohio. Elk & Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Could have a lot coming up. We could. We will continue to do the program. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
So much more to come.
You know what I can tell you? I can tell you that Billy Joel and Rod Stewart are together for the first time over, and it gives me great pride to know that I'm trusted with delivering this type of information, that I can talk about this on a daily basis, and it gives me a great deal of pride.
It gives me a great deal of pride that I'm right here beside you. I can tell you this, that tickets have really moved for this show, which I'm being serious. It's looking like a big success.
I believe that's us.
I think we've moved a lot of them.
I know we've moved a lot of them,
done the moving.
But they are moving. So
we're the Walter Sobchak of moving tickets. You want to get a tow and get your tow by 2:00. Easy. You want tickets to this? This is how you get them.
You want news? I can get it by 3:02.
Get it at 3:02. It's Friday, September 13th. It's the Browns Stadium. Tickets are on sale now. You can visit them at clevelandbrownsstadium.com/BillyandRod2024.
Billy and Rod 2024. Don't delay. Don't delay.
Why would you?
Well, this one for real. Don't delay. I'm saying this as a friend to the listener. Don't delay.
Don't delay.
Do not delay.
Get on it.
Do not delay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna delay. Don't.
Don't do that.
No.
Don't do it.
No.
Get it in as soon as you can. Get that information out. If you have information, you have an ability to get tickets, these type of things, get them out, get it in front of the public, get it done.
Get it done.
Get it done in friendly hands.
Yes.
That's it. Time for a little higher, lower. This used to be. I almost did it.
I know.
I almost did it.
It's all right.
It's been a long time. All right.
It's all right. It happens. We'll have something new.
You're blowing up over there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Everything's going on except the one thing that we thought.
My boards are going. I'll tell you what. 90. Oh, I better tell you about the 90-man preseason. Hey, 90. Hey, come on.
Come on.
Come on.
There was nothing else. Like it was just, hey, come on, and then the thumbs.
Yeah. He's like, hey, come on.
Come on.
Come on. Yeah,
so
the best.
The idea that the only time in the last decade plus that I've seen the thumbs used are the voice.
Yep.
And then, oh my God, that's a great idea. Do it at 3:02.
That's right.
That's it. Those are the only. And that's for my great friend Ritesh. He was that. Oh, dude, let's get pizza tonight. That's a great idea. That's fantastic. So good.
The first time that was ever done.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, my God. I wish I had seen
because
you. Like,
you can sell it.
How old were you when that?
22, 23.
Okay, you were
Yeah.
right out of school.
Oh, and I was down in Tallahassee, and we were just living our best life, and it was so full of it. And because you could, so when you haven't seen it before, and you just think that, like, it's a great idea, dude. Love that idea.
Yeah.
So good.
Does Bootsy still bust that out from time to time?
I got to refresh them on it.
Yeah.
I need to refresh it.
That needs to be in his.
It's got to get in his.
Except
in
when he
his
turns
repertoire.
around and uses it on them.
The sad thing
Yeah.
is, though, he would be like, "Oh yeah, Dad, this lobster is great. Yeah."
I want him to use it on my daughter. I want him to.
No. He can. No. All respect to anyone in charge.
Nah. You give her the business.
Yeah.
Put her through the
Gentlemen.
Oh. Wait a second.
We have got
238. Are you sure?
We've got some news. Yes.
Do we have some news?
No, you don't.
Oh,
yes, we do,
baby. I see it. I see it on the social platform. All right, I'm clicking. Is it real? Is it real?
I was gonna say.
Is it real?
Hold on, just a second.
I'm loading. I'm
Same.
loading. I'm on
Higher, lower,
clevelandbrowns.com.
Yes,
Might
it
be
is.
And I
moving.
have it. I have images. Go ahead.
All right.
Forward face of the organization, Nathan Zagura. Go.
All right. On clevelandbrowns.com right now, there is a letter that has just been posted to Cleveland Browns fans across Northeast Ohio and beyond, and it talks about the stadium situation. And it is from the man himself. That's right. Dave Jenkins from the Haslam Sports Group, obviously the COO of Haslam Sports, writes this letter, and it is long. Should I read it? I feel like it's a little bit too
I got
long.
a quote right here that's really good. We need to be bold, we need to be innovative, and we need to take advantage of this unique moment to create a transformational project, not only for our fans, but for Cleveland, Northeast Ohio region, and the state of Ohio. Let's go.
when talking about what could happen with the development in Brook Park. Says, quote, "This would be more than just a stadium project. It would also include a private development that, when combined with the world-class Dome Stadium, will be transformative for our region." It says, "While we are excited about the possibility of building a dome and surrounding development in Brook Park, the city of Cleveland and its success of downtown remain incredibly important to us. We acknowledge that a move to Brook Park may have a near-term impact on downtown, but we believe that the year-round activity of a Dome Stadium can still positively impact the downtown economy, particularly when coupled with the possibilities of a reimagined lakefront absent the stadium." This is, I think, very important. Developing the lakefront without the stadium could be the best way to maximize the long-term success of our underutilized North Coast waterfront asset. We continue to have a dialogue with the city regarding the optimal use of the lakefront and will remain engaged on this critical priority regardless of where the stadium is. We will also keep working with our public partners in earnest so that the stadium solution is a long-term win for everyone, including the city of Cleveland. I would also go so far as to say that you should go to this at clevelandbrowns.com, and there are renderings of the dome. In fact, there is a video of the new Cleveland Browns Dome Stadium vision that you can check out. I also want to stress, and I think this is very, very important to understand, that no decision has been made. No decision has been made on this from the Cleveland Browns, and I think that is a very important thing to understand at this point. They said they know that you, the fans, are passionate about this decision, and thank you for your continued support of the Cleveland Browns. We're excited about the future and look forward to sharing more information with you as the process continues to evolve and when a final decision is made. So they are still in progress right now. They do talk about some of the funding. They talk about the public partners, and they have begun to share this Brook Park Dome vision. The elected officials, fans, business, and civic leaders, they've received overwhelmingly positive feedback. We've also learned, though, through every conversation, there is more input to be gathered and significant work still to be done. So a lot here. When you guys see this,
I'm watching the video now, dude.
It's awesome.
It's chills.
Yes, it's Goosebump City.
It is an extraordinary vision. It is unlike anything we've seen. You know, you and I you've been around and we've talked about. I mean, if you're not in front of a computer, you can't get in front of one. Get here and watch the video. But like we've talked about the impact. You and I have the ability that we've been to, for example, a place like Minnesota, and seen what it's like to be in a place like that for football, that type of level of stadium. And it is on another level, on every level. And this video that I'm watching right now, it's honestly breathtaking. It's awesome. It's stunning. It's a stunning accomplishment. And again, nothing's decided. This is me talking, not the organization, but just this is an inspiring video. And the things that you and I've talked about many times in the morning or here is there is no place in the state that can house these type of things. We have to go to Indianapolis or Detroit to be able to go to WrestleManias, to be able to go to Final Fours, national championship games, Big Ten championship games, Ohio State home football games.
Yeah.
These type of things we've had to leave the state to be able to do. Wouldn't it be nice if we could do it here? Wouldn't it be something if you could host a Super Bowl in the state that birthed the sport from its loins? This would allow for it. Okay? So nothing, long way to let it, but this is pretty cool.
So
this
a couple things.
Very
I love
cool
that you mentioned Minnesota, which is considered to be the greatest stadium in the National Football League by most. It wins the awards for the best stadium.
Yep.
That is the model. They will try to build what is in Minnesota here in Cleveland. And when you see these videos, you see the light that comes in to the stadium. It is an incredible. You see the surrounding projects that would be a part of what's going on. I think it's going to transform this region. We're talking about billions of dollars with a B of investment into Northeast Ohio. And you just look at the economic impact that, say, SummerSlam had. Well, imagine being able to have things like that all year round.
That's right.
And have nobody skipping from concerts. You see the view at night where you can see basically right in through that top there. It is a stunning architectural. These renderings are stunning. It will be a best-in-class stadium in the National Football League. And, as Jim and I talked about it at the Greenbrier, the fact of the matter is you've been able to renovate, what was originally Jacobs Field because it was, at the time that it came out, one of the best stadiums in the league.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with Cleveland Brown Stadium, that was built in a rush.
Yeah.
To get the team out. It never had the bones of being first class. But when you see inside, it's almost as though you are outdoors. That's the view that you have in here. You can imagine Final Fours, and they even have that in the renderings there. Big basketball tournaments, concerts, football, you name it. It provides an opportunity. Here's the other thing. Think about the location. Think about when you fly into LAX. What's the first thing you see as you're coming into lane? You go right by SoFi Stadium, and you're like, wow, that looks incredible. That will be this. You will fly over it. It will be a great representation of this great city, of this region. And, look, I've always wanted there to be a dome here. The fact that this is becoming a possibility and perhaps a reality is incredible. Just have an open mind about it. I don't know about you, but I'm saying anecdotally, I've run 95.5 Pro Dome. For me, it's the minority that is against it. But I don't see how you could watch this and be like, this isn't where I'd want to go watch my team play football.
You have to adapt or die.
Yes.
And the reality is that if you ever were in a position, if you're ever in the position of going through Minneapolis, and even if you can't get inside that building, if you can get near it, you've been in it for a game, I've been in it for a private event. It is a stunning accomplishment. And when you're in it, you're like, oh boy, this is different than anything I've ever seen previously. And the idea that something like that could be here is stupefying.
It's a game changer.
In every way.
It is a game changer. Yeah. You will have the events. It's beautiful. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous stadium. It is a nod to Cleveland and some of the architecture that you'd see at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's kind of the vibe I get from the roof of the dome. Yeah. It's a stunning situation, and they talk about in here as well that they have been exploring all over to be able to find a place to do something that would be great for this area and this region. They believe and it even says in here, the other and more transformational option is to build a $2.4 billion new dome stadium in Brook Park, creating a modern, dynamic, world-class venue that would greatly enhance the fan experience and enable the state of Ohio and our region to compete for some of the biggest events in the world 365 days a year.
We are living in a world, you have kids, I have kids, where it is very difficult to get them. They have so many options at their fingertips. And so the venue, it has to – I know this for the old-timers out here, this is hard to sometimes wrap your head around, but it can't just be the football, right?
It's got to be – no, right. It has to be
It's got to be
everything.
more. It's got to be – I mean, you go to these games, you used to be on the sideline for these games. I was at the game against Buffalo. I've been at games where you sit out there and you just kind of and everybody says, oh, you got to play in the elements. But then I will see this stadium, and in recent years we've seen it even as we've been very competitive in December, and you see empty seats. And I don't blame you for leaving your seats and going to the concourses to watch the game because it's brutal.
Yep.
It's brutal. Look at the opener last year. Is that what you wanted to see? We won the game, but when you got Burrow and the Bengals against Watson and the Browns, and you want that? No, you want real football. No. And the only way really to get real football is to get it in a climate controlled, and our climate is brutal. It just is. And a great many of you have been to games where it's tough, man. It's tough sledding. I mean, that Saints game.
And that was a game that had the Browns won, they would have still been very much alive in the play, and it was empty because it was too cold. It just wasn't
20
feasible.
below zero, like. All of a sudden, it's 66 in December, and you're going in there, and it's warm, and it's great, and it's airy, and it's bright, and it's perfect. Like, come on.
I've always thought it was a no-brainer.
I'm really excited about this.
I think you
and I have always been on the same page with this.
As I've told people, once you see the vision, I don't see how you could not be for this region, and it will be. It will be a destination. It will be a beacon of pride in a proud city. Am I right, Gibbe?
A very proud city.
And a very proud region. And I just think you can only do so much with the stadium that currently exists. And even renovating it at some point, you're going to have to build a new stadium. That is inevitable.
Yes.
So you're just putting money. You'd be putting basically good money after bad, right?
Yep.
This is an opportunity to start fresh, create something that is absolutely state-of-the-art, something that will attract money to this region. It will attract events. It will attract massive crowds to this region. I heard a stat about SummerSlam, for example, which you could do in an open-air stadium in the summer, obviously. Yeah. That the vast majority of the people that were in attendance for SummerSlam, that was their first time in our stadium. Yeah. So think about how many people, when you have a venue like this that could host event after event after event after event, that you would be able to have in this region, their money coming into this region, their tax dollars coming into this region. It's unbelievable. I've been a fan of this from day one. In fact, if you were to go into the annals of this organization's history books, I believe we played, I don't know if you remember that year, but we played in Minnesota week 4, and then we played LA week 5.
Am I hard of memory?
You're not hard of memory.
We talked about it on the show.
Yeah, and I was like, we need Minnesota.
That's what we need.
Period.
That's it.
And at that time, it was not as popular of a take.
You and I were like, wait.
It was not as popular of a take.
No.
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
From on every level. The highest of levels. We've gotten awesome. To an incredible point. And I really hope everybody looks at this and watches the video, dives into this, because this has the chance to be an incredible development for the Cleveland Browns and an incredible development for Northeast Ohio. I mean, it really...
And the fans of the Cleveland Browns who can go to every game and be comfortable and be loud and be witnessing every game besides hiding in a concourse because you're getting rained on or snowed on or blown away, which is what happens. That's the reality.
The most important thing is in this organization that its charge, there are two things. One, put a winning product on the field, right? And parallel to that is to provide our fans a world-class experience.
Yep.
And the fact of the matter is this will allow us to provide our fans with a world-class experience.
So much more to come. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. It's fun. That's a fun way.
Dome, 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 dome.
You and I have been talking about, oh, baby. This thing's, it's a game changer.
It's spectacular.
It's
Watch the video.
Beautiful.
Head to clevelandbrowns.com. It is right there on the homepage. You cannot miss it, and I think you'll be very, very pleased with what you see.
There's nothing like this in the state or region.
No.
That's it. Next Level's coming up next. We are back tomorrow. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.